All right, so it's live streaming, everybody. We don't have a quorum yet.
You have Ken and Rabbi are in.
Okay, let me find Rabbi. I know he emailed me earlier, but I didn't get a chance to read it yet. So my apologies.
I'm in, Jeremy.
Yeah, no, I got you. So we got 18. We need 4 more. What's that, Harriet?
Juanita is in.
I'm here, Jeremy.
Okay, I got you. 3 more. We have a quorum. If you're a board member who joined us and you may be called in, or we just didn't see you, please notify us. We almost have a quorum. So if you just jumped in, maybe a minute or 2 ago.
There's 2 phone numbers. I don't know who they are.
Yeah, all right. So I need I don't have Tasneem. I don't have Valerie Babb. I don't have Ornella, Junior Campbell, Christina Contreras, Christine Cruz, April Francis, Malcolm Gray, John Johnson, Mulaney LaHose, Shred Hedman Purdom, Keith Ramsey, Katie Shkreli, Cecilia Smoker, Hafidar Sorov, Joanne Terlange, Joe Thompson, Chance Walcott, and Vernell Walker. I'm missing those people.
I'm here, Jeremy. Avril Francis.
Okay, thank you. I'll mark you down. All right, we need 2 more people.
Christine
Okay.
is in.
Okay, Al, you spoke to Joe Thompson earlier?
Sorry for the delay. It's Christine.
I did, and I told them how to get on. I gave them all the information on how to get on.
I emailed it out too, so.
Christina Contreras is in.
Okay, so then,
We have a
so
quorum.
you said Christine Cruz and Contreras,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So let me double check that should be our quorum now. That's 22 people. Do you want me to share my screen? I'll start the recording. Al? You want to start?
Yes.
Okay, let me start recording. Let me close this. I'll share the screen. Oral is here. There's been a slight modification. There's one gallery session speaker who signed up a while ago that I meant to put on, just got busy with everything, so I put her on now. All right, Al or Oral, whoever wants to, it's the full board meeting of Thursday, April 28th, 2022. It is 7:08 p.m. And our agenda for the evening is being shared, and Pledge of Allegiance. If Oral, you would like to start us off on that?
I'm here. Can you hear me? Can you
So
hear me?
everybody's going to remain silent. As a reminder, everyone remain silent, and just Oral will recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Ideally,
Okay.
you put your hand over your heart, but if you're not into that, whatever floats your boat.
Okay, Jeremy, can you hear me? You guys can hear me, right? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so I'm going to go over the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we'll have a moment of silence right after that. So here we go. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to go have a also a moment of silence for our fallen first responders, especially I know probably everyone has heard. I work for the city, so I go to the different firehouses and I talk to the firefighters and also police about their jobs and things like that. So it's funny. I was in Brooklyn and it was really good to see how many firefighters remember Timothy Klein, one of the firefighters who died, doing his job, saving people's lives in a fire in Brooklyn. So you see how so important our first responders are, our police, our firefighters, our medical staff, all of them. So moment of silence for the fallen, for all the fallen first responders, medical and military service personnel, and also just the victims of what's going on in Ukraine, and just things that are sponsored by governments, the type of violence that's sponsored by government. I was listening to NPR and hearing that we're in 2022 and we're still fighting this evil types of war. And you would think we would have advanced beyond that, but we're not. So I want to pray for those victims. I know everyone has seen the victims on TV. Pray for them and their family, and also for people who suffered from COVID-19, who died from COVID-19, and who are probably still sick, and also just the racial and social injustice that we have right here in our own country in the United States. We pray that one of these days it will end, and we can all walk hand in hand as one people. Okay, here's a moment of silence, please. Okay, thank you. Okay, Jeremy, back to you.
So for our gallery, just a reminder, people who registered 36 hours in advance receive an initial 2 minutes of uninterrupted speaking time, and they may respond to at most only 4 questions or comments by board members, and only board members without any time restrictions. Before I call on people, also a reminder at the bottom of our agenda is our conduct statement, which was added to our bylaws. So just remember, professional and free hostile environment. We do not encourage, or ultimately we don't allow attacks. So Oral will shut anybody down if he feels it's a breach of our conduct rules. Are you ready to time, Oral, the speakers?
I am.
Okay. So we have
first
Ileana Almanazar. I'm sorry if I mispronounced the last name. She's with Live On New York. It's the correct topic, I believe, is organ donations.
I'm going to give you a 30-second warning, okay?
Okay.
Okay, fantastic.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I'm going to start sharing my screen with you all. Thank you so much for having me here today. My name is Ileana Almanzar, and I'm here today on representing Live on New York. Live on New York cares for New Yorkers through organ, eye, and tissue donation. Our mission is to help save lives, provide comfort, and strengthen legacies. Through organ, eye, and tissue donation. We work with local hospitals and transplant centers to deliver the gift of life. We also care for families who selflessly donate their loved ones' organs. We educate communities on the importance of organ donation, what I'm doing now, and then we also advocate on behalf of those who are on the waiting list. Okay. So understanding the process of organ donation, these are some conditions that may lead to someone needing an organ donation: diabetes, hypertension, untreated hepatitis, congestive heart failure, the need of organ donation. So roughly there are over 8,000 individuals in New York State who are in need of an organ donation. The most needed organ in New York State is the kidney.
Wow.
So I'm just gonna get straight into the numbers. These are just the numbers for the Bronx whole, but I do have the zip codes that CB11 covers, which I will switch over my screen to our database and just show you how many individuals living within the confinement of Community Board 11 are waiting for a life-saving organ. So there are over 1,000 individuals in the Bronx who are in need of a life-saving organ. The number is extremely high, which is why I'm here today, just
30
to educate
seconds.
individuals the importance of organ donation. This is one donor's impact. So we need action.
Fantastic.
How can we help? Help coordinate presentations as this one, talk to our family members on what our request is when we're no longer here, if we don't choose to sign up to be an organ donor, or if we do. And then just switching right over, this is the database shared with us through the Organ Procurement Network. As you can see here, I have 10462, 10469, 10460, which are all the zip codes that Community Board 11 covers. In total, there are 208 individuals who are waiting for a life-saving organ within the confinements of Community Board 11.
Thank you. Excellent.
Thank you. I can stop sharing my screen now if I can figure out how. Let me see. Okay, stop sharing. There we go.
And just so everybody is aware, I believe, Eliana, you're going to email me something that I can send out to the entire board.
Correct.
If you could send us those stats with the zip codes, I think that'd be very nice too.
Absolutely, I will.
Any
Eliana,
questions
that was excellent,
What,
Eliana.
I have
appreciate
I
it.
have a question.
Yeah, Debbie.
I have a question. Hello? I have a
Yeah,
Yeah,
question.
go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. What is the average weight that a I guess lack of a better word, a patient, what's the average weight a patient entails in waiting for a transplant for an organ?
So the average weight is different for each individual because each case is different. So I cannot give you like an exact number of how long a person waits on the waiting list. Unfortunately, a person dies each day on the waiting list.
No, I'm not looking for an exact number, like ballpark.
Well, I don't want to misspeak, so I am unable to give you an actual number.
Okay.
Is it something you could inquire on and follow up with us about?
Absolutely, yes. That is something that I can inquire and follow up and send it in the email where I send you all the stats for this community board.
Do you also assist in what they refer to as living donation?
So that's a whole different entity. This is Live on New York is after death donation.
Thank you.
So if everybody's okay with me asking, how's that different from when you're an organ donor with New York State, your driver's license?
So it's not different. So Live on New York is the designated organ procurement organization for New York State. So there is no difference.
Okay. Unless there's anyone, we thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, Gabriel Jameson, are you in tonight?
Yeah, Jeremy.
All right, so whenever you're ready, you have 2 minutes and then unlimited time for 4 questions or comments thereafter to respond to. So whenever you're ready.
Go ahead, Gabriel. Gabriel, I think you're muted. Are you muted? We can't hear you.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I'm ready. Okay. So good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Gabriel Jameson. I'm a Morgan Stanley Fellow, working on policy and research for the Center for New York Neighborhood, and I'll be presenting on the Black Homeownership Project. So the Black Homeownership Project came up with 10 interventions. As these are some of the 5 interventions that we have up and running at the center that you guys could take hold of. Down payment assistance navigation, matching, saving, acceleration, homeownership landlord services, pathways to tenants to purchase, and sorry, I can't see, this thing is in the way. Expanding estate planning. Down payment assistant navigation is basically a digital tool for home buyers and counselors to aggregate down payment assistant. Matching saving accelerator is basically a unique tool that we have. Basically a simple way is this. Now we have matching funds for elected officials. We match funds based on $1 to elected officials. Basically, it's that for regular people. So if you save $5,000, we're going to match it $20,000. That's a unique way that we came up with to help homeowners. So these are just the 5 interventions that we already have up and running at the center. I'm going to go into the new interventions that I'm working on. What's going on? So some of the new interventions that we're working on at the center, these are my interventions, are FHA reform, cooperative fair housing, anti-discrimination, credit building, holistic counseling for senior homeowners, and peer-to-peer counseling. Let me explain this. So the goal of FHA reform is to replace the mortgage insurance premium and exchanges for first-time home buyer. A lot of times the African-American communities turn to FHA more than their white counterparts. So we don't think that they should have put more of a financial burden on them and make them pay a more insurance premium. We just want to exchange it for for first-time home buyer counseling. That's the first one. The second one is cooperative fair housing. In New York City, majority of our housing stock is made of cooperative housing. Cooperative housing, just a fun fact, is way more affordable compared to other pathways of homeownership. Is actually around $450,000. The issue that we face with cooperative housing is that we would like to create a more transparent system. And the way how we're going to create a transparent system is introduce legislation that we can have introduce legislation that we can have
30 seconds.
Introduce legislation that we can have a more transparent system. So that's one way. Credit building is basically providing credit building is a way to provide not homeowners but participants to build their credit profile. And the way how we want to build our credit profile is reporting our rental payments to the credit. Then it can improve our credit profile. Holistic counseling is basically a financial educational campaign where we're teaching our Black seniors about estate planning, wills, and tax abatements. And peer-to-peer counseling, last one, is really us in the Black community basically organizing, creating organized power in community, sharing information, working together as a collective. That's pretty much what my presentation is about. If you have any questions, you can ask me. You can contact me at the Center for New York City Neighborhood. My name is Gabriel James. I'm a Morgan Stanley research.
That was great. Thank you, Gabriel. Yeah, this is a great presentation, but you would probably need more time to really go into it. But it was great. Thank you.
I'll come back to you guys another day to give a better presentation. Sorry.
I have a question. Are you guys a nonprofit?
The Center for New York City Neighborhood, yes, it is. The biggest housing nonprofit for homeowners.
Do you think you would like to come to a housing committee meeting?
I would love to. Yes.
Okay. So we're not having one this month, but maybe for June.
What about next month? It doesn't matter. Yes, I'll come. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, we're not having one in May. That's what I'm trying to. I'm sorry, we're still in April. I'm jumping the gun here.
I will come there for June.
Possibly for our June meeting.
Yes, I can be there.
Okay, thank you. Does Jeremy have your contact information?
Yes, he does. And I'll be reaching out to Jeremy tomorrow morning.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have a comment too, Jeremy. I think that was well done, well said, and it's very interesting. This should almost be a program or something that where you can go into it with more residents about your entire concept, this whole concept that you demonstrated to us. I think it was well done. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Gabriel, he said Jeremy.
I'm sorry, Gabriel. Jeremy, next.
So, all right, thank you very much. Let me share the screen. I believe it is Roxanne Delgado. If Roxanne is here.
Roxanne, are you here? Hello, Roxanne. Hey, if you might you may be muted because we cannot hear you.
Jeremy, this is Junior Campbell checking in.
And I got you, Junior. Thank you. So Diana
Okay.
Finch.
Roxanne Delgado? No?
Well,
okay.
We can move on to Diana and we can come back to her if she's comes later, I guess. Diana
Okay.
Finch.
Diane, I'm gonna give you 30 seconds, please. And
Okay, thanks, Oral.
okay.
Hello, everyone. I'm here on behalf of BPECA to tell you about at our most recent meeting, we launched a new project. We've noticed a lot of construction of apartment buildings in the area between Pelham Parkway North and Allerton, Bronx Park East, and Boston Road, and including some sites where work has been halted. So we decided to compile a list. We came up with 10 buildings underway or very recently finished, and recently added 2 just north of Allerton. And we've decided to collect as much information as we can on these buildings because they are all 5, 6, or 7-story buildings in place of what were empty lots or 1 or 2 family homes. And we're very concerned about the impact this will have on the community, especially on the parking. There's already not enough street parking, and on the schools. And we'll be meeting with our councilman to discuss these community impacts. A big thank you to Jeremy Warnicki for showing us through the CB11 website how to gather information on these projects, including the individual owner identities and the permit and stop work order histories. Information that is very difficult to find, or maybe even impossible to find if you don't know how. We would also like to give a huge thanks to the Parks Department for completing the Waring Playground and basketball court renovation 4 months ahead of schedule in time for the warm weather. And
30 seconds.
Beautiful state-of-the-art job. We had a wonderful ribbon cutting ceremony, and we invite you all to come and visit and see what is possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Diana.
Okay. Unless
I have a question for Diana.
Yep, go ahead.
Hi. Diana, is one of the buildings in your area that you have on your list 2721 Colden Avenue?
Say that again?
2721 Colden Avenue?
No, because we just stayed within the area between Pelham Parkway and Allerton, Bronx Park East, and Boston Road.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted
I recommend calling Jeremy and going over with him how you find out through the best way is through the website, the CB11 website.
I put that in my notes, definitely. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
Okay. I guess that concludes the gallery.
Sorry, this is Roxanne Delgado. Hello?
Yep, go ahead. If you're ready.
I'm waiting for the time to be set and a 30-second warning.
Okay, Roxanne, we're getting ready to set it for you. Okay, are you ready now?
Yes, thank you for asking. I am ready.
Okay, you can go.
Thank you. Community boards should empower the public with basic information and background before public hearings and meetings are held. I requested Community Board 11 to send questionnaires with frequently asked questions to the Department of Homeless Services before the scheduled public hearing on White Plains Road Men's Shelter. The Community Board refused to do so. After the public hearing, several residents stated to me that the meeting was not run well and answers to questions asked should have been known before the meeting. Another example is the recent Kingsland group home. The board should advise the public that the state rejected the group home application and the group home was seeking a waiver. The group homes are not required to notify the community board, so the board should have known they were seeking a waiver. The issue is that some of the residents had attended this group home meeting and stated remarks that were not sensitive to people with disabilities. And this is common when the community is driven by fear and anger because community board does not inform them with information. They don't empower them with the information needed. As the founder of Friends of Pelham Parkway, one of our core functions is to inform our community board, our community, since the board does not do so and continues not to do so. And the community is disempowered, not informed, and can't advocate effectively for themselves. The Community Board 11 does not provide them with the needed information. Community Board 11 needs to disseminate information and do so on a timely basis. And this also applies to the 49th precinct because just recently I found out from residents that there was 2 rapes that happened within a year at Bronx Park East. And none of us knew about it, but the park employees confirmed to me that it was really not a rumor, but it was a fact. And none of us knew that there was 2 rapes within a year at Bronx Park East. One was
30
rape
seconds.
and beaten up. Another one was rape and murder. And women are walking there, jogging there, walking their dogs, and no one knew about this. So also 49th precinct also needs to inform the community. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Roxanne.
Okay, unless we made a mistake somewhere, that concludes the gallery. And then we got the chairman's report, Mr. D'Angelo. If you can see it.
Could you make that a little bit bigger, please?
Yeah, of course. Good?
One of the things we met about at the last executive board meeting and on May 19th was talking about the attendance. Attendance has been abysmal for members of CB11's community board. We have in our bylaws that after 5, if you've missed 5 meetings, that you would get a letter and the possibility of removal. This is going to be upheld. It annoys me, the fact that, some people are having committee meetings and people don't show up. And then we have a board meeting and we have to wait until, we have a quorum because 5, 6, 7, 8 people are not showing up for meetings. So this is not the way things are supposed to happen. We're supposed to be working for the public. And to work for the public, we volunteered to do this. If we volunteered to do it, then let's do it. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. But then, we're going to ask that you be removed from the community board. This has been going on now for a while. So we will put some teeth into this law. We will abide by it, and we'll bring people up. People will get a letter if they've been missing X amount of meetings, and the board will then take action against them. So I thank everybody for their volunteer services. But if you're going to volunteer for something, then let's do it the way we're supposed to do it. Thank you. The next thing I want to mention is that I set up a nominating committee. I think Jeremy mentioned it at last meeting. Joe Thompson, Joanne Rubino, and John Johnson will be on that committee, and we'll start those nominations later on. Also, our bylaws state that committees must meet 7 times a year. They're allowed to cancel 3 meetings. I'm going to ask David to convene the bylaws committee and look into the possibility of changing that to having meetings as needed. I don't want to force people to have meetings if they have nothing to meet about. So maybe if we put in the bylaws instead of the fact that they have to attend 7 meetings, that the meetings will be held as needed. So David, I ask you if you would convene the bylaws committee and look into that, and then we'll bring it up to the full board for a vote.
Thank you, Al. I will convene the bylaws committee in June.
I'm
sorry, and I've lost track of time, in May. Sorry.
Thank you, David. That's all I have, Jeremy.
David, this is Sandy. I'm on your committee. Can you give us a few dates to work with?
Absolutely. I'll consult with you and Joanne, and we'll come up with something that's convenient for everyone.
Terrific. Okay.
Okay. Veronica, treasurer's report.
Excuse me, Jeremy, just one more thing. You have a list of the people that are going to receive letters, correct?
Yeah, so because I got a phone call while you were talking now, so I don't know if you read this, but it's a reminder that if you miss 5 full board meetings.
Yes, I did.
Okay, all right.
And again, we do have some people that are going to receive letters, and it's, the first one just, to let you know that, that you're on you're on our radar. And again, I understand there are times when you just can't make meetings. I mean, you have family commitments, work, things like that, but just, let us know ahead of time so we're not waiting for you to sign on and then nothing happens. Thanks, Jeremy. That's it.
Veronica, treasurer's report.
Hi, everyone. There was a delay getting the Treasury report to the office due to the mayor releasing the executive budget. They got it to me yesterday evening, so I got it to the board this evening, so you should have it hopefully tomorrow or by Monday. Thank you. If you have any questions, just reach out to me.
Okay, Hazel, secretary's report. Hazel.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I hope everyone received March's minutes and reviewed them. So at this time, I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes for March 2022 full board meeting.
I second the motion.
Thank you, Sandy.
You're welcome.
Any discussion? Any abstentions? Anyone opposed? The motion carries. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I believe that was unanimous, right?
Yes, Jeremy.
Sorry. See if I can share my video. So I'm not going to share my screen. All right, so that's my report. So one thing I've been trying to email, aside from publish on the CB11 website, which obviously is not going so well, in terms of my reports. So one of you brought to my attention this Bronx Times article about Kingsland Avenue. I recommend you read it if you haven't already. Someone tried blaming the committee board Monday night, if not other times, that, for members of the public who, quote, may regret the things they said, quote, end quote, at the April Leadership Committee meeting. Just want to make sure we're clear about this. So whatever you say our meetings are open to the public. We cannot, our meetings are open to the public. It's pretty simple. If you say something, you should be mindful, right? Whether it's in public or to other people, especially nowadays with technology and people's ability to, document what you say or do. So right now we're set to start meeting in person again in June, at the latest. And there are options for meeting remotely, but it's realistically not possible. I can go into details about that, but long story short, we're gonna be meeting again in public, in person, and that doesn't stop. And even though recordings largely, hold on, I keep hearing somebody else moving around. Can you please stay muted if you're not talking? Janice, I'm going to mute you. All right, so I don't want to take up too much time, but I just want to remind everybody that the public can record us. The board won't necessarily be recording at least committee meetings. We're going to have a meeting at the next executive board meeting. That's 6 p.m. on May 19th. In addition to talking about attendance, we have a guest speaker for that executive board meeting to talk about recording full board meetings, which we had in the past. The person we used in the past, a former staffer of ours, she no longer does it. She recommended the people who video record Committee Board 12. We couldn't use those people in the past because Committee Board 12 currently meets the same time we meet every month. So they should be having their full board meeting tonight. I can say other things. Long story short, I am drafting a pretty lengthy email about the group home, and which includes the recommendation to the state, which was sent on April 18th, because that was the deadline to respond to the state. And the committee board, for those of you who didn't hear, the leadership committee voted to reject the proposed group home on Kingsland Avenue based on oversaturation, or based on what the state has already denied them for. So unless there's any questions, I want to really move the meeting along. All right, thank you, everybody. Share the screen again. It should be committee reports. Yahe should be first up. Leadership.
Hello, everybody. Yep, I'm here. So thank you, Jeremy, for publishing the minutes for April 25th. That was very, very fast. Thank you, Veronica, for assisting Jeremy. Let's see, the second item is the MTA art panel. I know Bernadette was very passionate about this issue. Jeremy, you have an update. I think you spoke with the MTA. Do you want to go over it?
Yeah, so the committee, you can see, voted. They made a motion to inquire with the MTA. So I tried to get an answer for the board. Actually, Al and I tried to get an answer for the board sooner than tonight. And so we met with the representative, the liaison for this with the MTA. We met with them yesterday. And basically, they apologized for their error and not including us on the panel. So there are four, just a reminder, there are four proposed Metro North stations for the Bronx. I think it's Hunts Point, Parkchester Van Ness, Morris Park, and Co-op City. And they're commissioning an artist to do some type of artwork at these stations. And Bernadette, so I sent an email to the board asking who would like to go. I was going to go, but since Bernadette and Malcolm volunteered, Malcolm had some of his jobs, so he couldn't go, but Bernadette did go for the Morris Park panel. And that's when we found out that Parkchester Van Ness one had already occurred, unfortunately, because they didn't realize that the Van Ness station is, or the Parkchester station is in Van Ness. That's a whole nother story. But long story short, they are sorry, and they will include us in the future. This is not over. There's going to be something, there's going to be a follow-up. Ideally, there's a follow-up panel because there's a follow-up panel because they selected artists and now they're going to present a design of some sort for whoever they selected these panels. Did I get that right, Bernadette? Is that basically the gist of it?
Yeah, well, the gist of it is that the stations are designed, and the areas where the art will be placed is important, because that will help the artist in their final conceptual rendering to come out to be chosen. But the artist selection panel, 40 artists are presented in their work, and that's part of the selection. It's an extremely interesting selection along with discussion. But my one question was, well, is the artist that's going to be selected for the Morris Park train station also going to be commissioned for the Parkchester Van Ness station? And was a question that basically was answered. Well, isn't Parkchester Van Ness station in Community Board 9? So of course I gave them the correct answer and gave a bit of history. I'm glad that they've responded, but Jeremy, I think that I'd like to request that the Community Board 11 get a letter from the MTA with the information of who went to represent and choose the artist for Parkchester Van Ness, and most importantly, how the information became misinformation, and that information was Community Board 9 and not Community Board 11, which it should have been. And it's I guess to those who are Van Ness representatives, it's a bit upsetting, and we would really like to have a letter sent to at least one person. It doesn't have to be the full board, because you have to sign a confidentiality, anybody who was in these meetings. I can't give any more specifics than what I did. That information should be given to at least one board member in Community Board 11 as to what happened. How did this misinformation happen? And who was a final artist, and who went to represent. So I really am requesting that. Did you get that,
Um,
Jeremy?
Yeah, I got that.
Okay.
I think the important thing that you mentioned though is trying to find out what occurred in that panel, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think Van Nest, Parkchester Van Nest does deserve that much since it was in their era.
Yeah, so quick question, Bernadette. Who are
Yes.
they going to reply to? Because so you're going to make a request to get more information or have us involved in the process?
The process is, as far as they're concerned, the process is done.
Okay, the process is done, but
not
you're
going.
saying,
Go ahead.
but there's more to be done, right? You're saying it's not over yet. I mean, I heard you say that. No?
Jeremy said that this is step one. Step one is they choose the artist and alternative who is going to commission
Right.
to do the artwork. I'm sure that the next step will be to see their concepts. So it will be done on a small conceptual. I mean, that's usually even how advertising agencies have it. You have 3 or 4 concepts, just as far as architectural renderings. And from there will be a discussion and I guess a final decision.
Right.
As
So
far as the
how
final
do we?
design.
So are we?
Yeah, that's what's going to happen in September is once they
Yes.
come back to us with, because yeah, my understanding is that they selected an artist. They didn't actually pitch anything to actually put out on these stations yet.
No, it's just where the installation, where the artwork is going to be, with the rendering of the train station and where it will be placed. And then the artist, the process of elimination. And it was an extremely informative process and very good discussion.
So how is the?
You did say we wouldn't, this is for, for everybody's information. They said it wouldn't start until 2023. That's what the gentleman said the other day when we spoke, we met with him. So at least you have an idea that they're supposedly going to start in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actual like shovels in the ground type construction, I believe. Right? Is that what you said, Al?
That's what they said.
So and they promised to get community board
Hey,
involved with the process or
Jeremy
someone.
and Al, this is Yahe.
Yes.
Just real quick, oral before you go.
You're breaking up, Yaha. Yeah, you're breaking up. We can't hear you. You're choppy. Yeah, you're choppy. You have to repeat it, Yaha, please.
No.
I'm going to step away to break my fast, so Al or Jeremy can take over.
For leadership, okay. So, I don't know. You want to make a motion, Berna, that we? I mean,
Okay. I'd like to answer your question, though, Oral. You had a. Do you want to continue your question?
Yeah, the question was, so from this point on, are they going to get someone in the community board? Will MTA notify someone in the community board, maybe Jeremy or Al?
The correction is now made.
Okay.
The correction is now made by with their knowledge that the Parkchester Van Nest train station is 100% in Van Nest and in Community Board 11. So I think from here on, that information.
They did say they were going to keep us in the loop from here on in.
They
Okay,
better.
fantastic.
well,
No, I wasn't sure. Okay, thank you.
One thing that Al and I talked with them about yesterday is I asked if he could send that to me in writing, and he said he would, but he hasn't done that yet. Particularly so we could, not do this here. Basically, that way I could forward out to everybody. I think I forwarded onto the board his response about, oh yeah, we forgot type thing. But in terms of that, this process is not over. In September, we're going to call people back in for the panel. So Bernadette would be called back in for the Morris Park station. And if Al or somebody from the Morris Park community probably wants to be involved, I'm sure they could probably involve them at that point. But I haven't received anything yet. And yeah, he usually emails me. I checked. And because Bernadette, after she heard about the Parkchester Van Nest thing and was upset, of course, she, I checked my email. I got nothing about Van Nest and Parkchester. So hopefully, so maybe that's
Okay, so,
Yeah,
you know,
it sounds like a big slap in the face
well,
to the Van Ness people from the MTA, because that, it sounds like the MTA is so out of touch that they don't even realize, borders and boundaries of things.
that was the question is, where, uh, who gave MTA the information? I guess that's a question on my part for representing Van Ness. Who gave him that information? Or, I would just like to know how
But
the
even
misinformation.
a quick Google search by the person working for MTA, they could have seen that
Yeah, the
they
borders.
right where the borders were.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
ideally, they would have remembered that initially, if everybody's not aware, or if you're not aware, initially the train station was called Parkchester. And then, of course, Burnett was like, so Burnett was upset. She wanted to rename Van Ness. And so I suggested the compromise Parkchester Van Ness, or Van Ness Parkchester, because Van Ness, it isn't,
It should really have been Van Ness Parkchester.
yeah, or just Van Ness. But yeah, I know at this point it's moot, but.
I mean, the history of, I mean, it's being built on the actual location of the original Van Ness train station, and I mean, it's part of Van Ness history. So,
Where are
but
they
compromise
building that particular station? Where is the plan for that
on
build?
on East Tremont Avenue, now on the side of the car wash, farther down, it's actually on the location, or very close to the original. There's still a platform of the original Van Ness train station platform. It's there. It's filled with weeds or whatever, but it's actually still there. And I'm sure the location is going to be it's very, very
So
close.
so that all where all those cars are parking between like
Yes.
VIM
Yes.
and Unionport?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I make a motion that, the MTA send in writing, a letter to at least one board member, especially if they want to keep their confidentiality, but about what artist was chosen, and also how the misinformation came to be, and who went to represent from Community Board 9 for Community Board 11. So, I mean, if there's any other information, but I make a motion that this letter be sent to at least one board member with that information if they want to keep the confidentiality.
Yeah, I mean, I think a little bit more detail than that, Bernadette, not just who from Community Board 9, but who else was there for the panel, because it's more than just one person, right? So.
Yeah, from the community, yes, it would be, yes, but they have their voters board, and then they have the, I guess, the community people representing the community. So the final vote does come from whoever is on the voter board that is present in the room, so.
Okay, so long story short, we still want stuff in writing, and we will put it
Yes.
in writing, right?
So what is the motion?
The motion is to have this letter with this specific information, send in a letter to at least one board member, in Community Board 11.
Okay.
Yeah, legally, an email will suffice too, as long as we vote.
Yes, yes. So is there,
I second it.
Thank you. Is there any abstentions?
Further discussion?
any-
No further discussion, right?
I think we discussed, but is any further discussion?
Yeah, we discussed this a lot. That's great.
Yes,
Thank you,
yes.
Bernadette. That's a good job explaining everything. Well done.
Thank you. You're quite welcome. Is there anybody against? Okay, so I guess this unanimously passes. Thank you.
I think that's it for leadership. I don't remember anything else. There's nothing else on the agenda. So that's, unanimous. There's no abstentions or no against votes for that. Public safety, Veronica?
Hi, can you keep the agenda on the screen so I can read the motion? So we had a meeting recently. The Icon School, located at Eastchester Road and Pelham Parkway, they had concerns about the safety of the traffic congestion that's been around there. And as most of you probably heard, Tyrone Medeiros, he goes out and he does the traffic every once in a while for there. He was involved in an incident where one of the parents hit him with their car. So we had a meeting, Jeremy, Phyllis, myself, Tyrone Medeiros, the Icon School, and DOT. We went there, we spoke with the Icon School, and we actually witnessed some of the traffic congestion that they're talking about. So the school themselves sent us an email requesting that a no standing sign from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. be put from the front of the school down to Eastchester Road in order to alleviate some of the traffic congestion that's there. We discussed it at the public safety meeting, and we voted that the community board send a letter to DOT requesting that the sign be put up. And that would again be a no standing sign from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. weekdays for the school. The school releases the children at 3:45, so this would give them time to go home and the parents to pick them up. So that's, I make a motion that we send this letter to DOT to request a sign for the Icon School. Do I have a second?
I second that.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Yeah, I would like to discuss. I have a child. I have a child and another child going to Icon. That will be going to Icon. The only issue I have is, thinking as a parent to park there, because sometimes a child. I know I pick up my child, and sometimes they're not available at that time, or, you may have to park there, for 10, 15 minutes or 20 minutes in order to pick up your child. So I'm not sure if that's the only solution. So that's
Well,
just
right now, there's nowhere for the parents to park there because residents park there for most of the time. So the idea was to have it so that the residents can park there. And if the parents have to park there for a minute or two to grab their children and then leave, it gives a little bit of more breathing room for the cars. So it's also a deterrent to keep the residents from parking there during that time. And the parents hopefully won't sit there for 5 or 10 minutes, but they'll be able to pick up their children within a few minutes and then leave, and more traffic can get through.
But I wanted to know, can we amend the letter to, because really what helps is a person being there to direct traffic. And that is what is lacking, really.
Well, we saw the school, they said they have their people directing traffic.
No, they do not. Not all the time. I think yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I understand. Same with what Veronica said. Tyrone, the crime prevention officer, is not there all the time. But he's been there for maybe about a year. And this, unfortunately, this person who hit him was intentional.
That's horrible.
They weren't happy with being told that being directed a different way. So that's why we're trying to alleviate some of this congestion, because it's just not a safe condition at all.
Because a long time ago, I think I was getting complaints from a former board member on Rhinelander. I remember speaking to the school. We met on site. They were also concerned about what they can do with certain things here and there. At the time, they didn't want to. I forget how many years ago this was. They did not want to put up restrictive signage, but at this point, they don't feel like there's. Because when I was there, there's a whole bunch of parked cars, and it didn't seem like there was any turnover. So at least this would give some turnover.
Yeah. I
have also witnessed parents parking on the main road of Pelham Parkway, getting out of their cars, leaving the car unattended on the main road of Pelham Parkway to go get their kids. That's just ridiculous. When my child was in school, if I had to park 3-4 blocks away, I parked 3-4 blocks away. Walking's not gonna kill you. But people want door-to-door service. They want to be right there, right in front. And that's what's causing all the crazy traffic jams over there.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's just that I think the school needs to be more organized on how to dismiss students, maybe in a certain area. In the back there, they have a big parking lot, but they don't want us to use it. But
Yeah,
I
because
also,
they usually have, because they have the buses and the teachers there. I mean, I can tell you that the school, they said, a lot of the teachers were going to be unhappy too, but he said
Yeah.
they're going to have to deal with it. And
Okay.
and there was talk about doing the other side, but we thought that would be too much. I know, so we're going to start with this side and see how it goes.
let's see how it goes. Okay. But I just want to
This is the
stay,
south
I
side-
just want to
this
state
is
on
the
the record.
south side.
Yeah, go ahead.
This
I'm
is the
sorry.
south side of the school. So
Mhm.
this is the south side of school from Eastchester Road down to the front, or basically down to the ending of the school. It's just the south side on Pelham Parkway South. It's not, again, we just talked about doing the north side of Pelham Parkway South Service Road. If I need to show you a map, I could, but
Yeah,
hope
I
that's
mean,
clear
I
enough.
totally agree with doing something. I just want to put on record that I'm saying that they need a traffic officer there. They need a couple of traffic officers because if there's going to be an accident, whether you will be alleviating the issue with one side non-standing. You'll definitely alleviate, but I'll tell you, it's a major traffic jam every day, every day. You know. So I think just to avoid accident, I'm just saying in terms of safety of the people, the parents, the students are walking across. It is crazy.
Yeah, one other thing that Officer Medeiros requested that DOT, I believe they said they could do, is so right before you cross Eastchester Road on Pelham Parkway South, there are no standing signs at the corner. A couple of cars from Eastchester Road. He asked for directional signage on the street, like
Oh,
right
okay.
turn,
Got it.
because a lot of people will they'll just take up the whole middle section.
Yes.
I mean, you can only do so much to control the area.
I mean, not to hold up everyone, but I have a story. A truck driver had to pick up his son, and he parked right in front of the school, right in the middle of the street, and we had to wait about 30 minutes for him to finish picking up his son. And then all the cars were backed up all the way out to Pelham Parkway, and there was no traffic person to say, hey, or
Yeah, Jeremy, Naomi
force
makes
anything.
a very strong point with the ability to have a traffic officer there because, as you know, as probably everyone else here knows, no matter how many signs, no matter how many directional arrows you have, when people go to pick up their children, they're not going to obey those signs, and they're not even going to see them because their tunnel vision picking up their children happens. It even happens with me when I was younger. So I think that the idea at private schools do it, schools all over and certain areas do it. I think Naomi's right. The best option to me, Jeremy, is but I don't know if they want to do it, but the best option is to have someone out there guiding and directing traffic.
So let me go say something.
Everybody seems to be missing the fact there needs to be parent accountability. It's basic. It's the
I understand
parents
that,
that doing.
Debbie.
They're blaming the school. They're
You
blaming the
are
lack of
you are
sign.
a good parent.
Parent
Debbie,
accountability.
Excuse me. Hold it. I think, Jeremy, make a request, see if we can get a traffic agent over at the school. When it comes to parents, that's up to the parents. We can't dictate what parents are going to do. We can have traffic agents there to hopefully alleviate the problem. But then you're going to have that same problem with other schools. I know PS 108 has that problem, St. Clair's has that problem, 83 has that problem. Anywhere there's a school, you're going to have that problem with parents not considering other parents and just picking up their children. Let's try and see if we can get a traffic agent over there. If we can, that would alleviate the problem. I'm sure.
Yeah. So Al, that's a great point. PS 108 is a good example. And this is what needs to happen, I think, at ICON. I know when we were there on site, they talked about limited resources. First of all, yeah, I did see somebody, again, from the school directing traffic. Naomi said they do that, but it's not consistent maybe. But think of this. If the parents aren't listening to the police officer, in fact, one parent intentionally hit the police officer because they didn't like, his orders. And Tyrone is, he's a nice guy. Okay. He's a police officer. You should follow what he's saying. I don't think the school is necessarily going to be able to change that. What they need to do, and what Charles Speraza, the former principal of 108 used to do, and Chris would know this, he would come to my DSC meetings and he would demand that the 49 precinct ticket the parents to no end. Because at some point he got fed up with it, because like this, except for in 108, they could do U-turns. It was dangerous, and it's still dangerous, and they need to blitz them with enforcement.
Well, the thing is, Jeremy, I just want to point out, I know you're saying the police officer was hit, but I don't know if he was plain clothes or not, because
No, he was not. He was in full uniform. He had his jacket on, vest, and everything, so he had his uniform on.
And of course, the parent got arrested.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Chris. This issue has been happening. This is, I should say, about 6-7 years ago, the same issue. Since that icon opened, there's been a problem about traffic over there. It bottlenecks. You got to understand, the hospital is there, the police department is there, fire department. God forbid a fire happens, and like Naomi said, a truck is stopped right in the middle, and you want to try to save somebody's life. Believe me, the person is dead. I guarantee you that. So, to resolve the issue, ICON has to dismiss the kids on the back. They have plenty of space over there. I don't care why the teachers park over there, which is fine, let them park. Once the dismissal happens, it takes no more than half an hour for dismissal. 20 to 3 until 3:10, 3:15 the max. For half an hour, let them dismiss them on the back. The street in the front can be for whatever. You can put the signage just to elevate as much as you can. Dismiss on the back. This is the best resolve.
They
That's
dismiss
how
the
we
children
came.
that go on the buses in the back, and the buses
That's
are
fine.
all going to
Dismiss
pick up
everybody
the
else.
children.
Dismiss everybody else then on the back.
I
It's
agree with
easy.
Chris. Actually, PS 41, that's what they do there. They no longer dismiss on White Plains Road. They have them go through the back where, the schoolyard and where the teachers park. And it's been much safer.
Yeah, we
Here's
can
one other thing that they
request it.
brought up.
We
Yeah, but
can
here's
discuss.
another thing that they brought up about that. We went to the back and we saw where the school buses go in. It's a narrow street. It's a two-way street. It's a narrow street. And there were already parents lining up there that was preventing the bus from being able to safely turn into the schoolyard. So that's an issue they have back there. So releasing all the children from the back would cause an even bigger issue back there. So it's kind of like a no-win situation, whether you put them all in the front, in the back, or you just have the school kids in the back. They're still having troubles in the back too.
We can discuss this all night. Let's do two things. One, Jeremy, see if you can get DOT to get traffic agents over there, at least for a blitz time for maybe a couple of weeks, so that the parents get the idea that they're going to be ticketed if they double park there. So hopefully they get into the habit of not doing it. And then second of all, let's meet with the Icon School and see what we can have them do to alleviate some of the problems. Maybe send a letter out to the parents, talking to them about courtesy to the other parents in the school.
Yeah, well, no, they've done that already. They said they've done that, and I believe they've done that.
Yes,
let's-
they have. They have.
All right, and let's see what we can do with the traffic agents.
Mhm.
Even if it's just a blitz couple of weeks and it might alleviate the problem, at least people get out of the habit of doing what they're doing.
And help them think twice, because it really is, it's really bad.
I can guarantee you're going to see a lot of traffic agents going to be punched on the face. I can guarantee you that.
Oh, geez.
Since somebody hit the police officer with a
get
car.
arrested.
No, that's not
Well,
gonna
this
happen.
lady got arrested. You think it's not
Chris.
going to happen again? It's going to happen often and often and often and again and again.
Let's move on.
Dismiss on the back. That's going to be the best issue.
Hold on,
school-
we have a
let
motion
the
on the
students
floor.
do it.
A motion that actually didn't need to be seconded, a motion that was voted on in committee. So unless there's any more discussion, we just call for a vote. Veronica?
Okay, are there any
Veronica?
objections? Any abstentions? Okay, motion passes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Land use? Ken Gelnick? I can hear you. Go ahead.
No, I just want to unmute and start the video. There we go. Good evening, everybody. We have one small item on for land use. Back in January, we had a meeting. We had an application by Sal and Dom's Bakery for legalization of the use that they had, and my paper, and of course I misplaced. There it is. With legal for two things. Number one, they wanted to extend their variance. We at that point we had no objections to that, and we reported to the full board about it. But there was one issue that had come up that was as part of the variance application. Sal and Dom's were also asking to legalize the use of a garage as a storage room. They've basically been using it this way for the past 20 years. And it's theoretically a non-use as of right. You have to get BSA approval for it. There's really nothing. But our question was, would this increase any traffic? They couldn't give us an answer at that meeting. They've come back to us in the past 2 weeks, and they said no, it will not increase the traffic. I've polled the members of the committee. The committee members all now agree that we should send a letter of no objection to the Board of Estimate and saying that BSA saying that we don't have any objection. They're not increasing it. They're not having any new construction. They're not building any buildings. They're basically continuing the way they are. I've never been in there, but everybody tells me it's a really great bakery. And I think at this point, I would like to make a motion that we email a letter of no objection regarding Sal and Dom's application.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Discussions? So Ken, you want to call for a vote? No, no discussion?
Calling for a vote. I call for a vote on the motion. All in favor? Does anybody object to? By the way, does anybody object to this motion? Does anybody abstain on the motion? Jerry, I think we could say that you passed unanimously. Thank you. Thank you, members of the board.
I have a question for Ken.
Who is that?
Ken, has it crossed your path of 2721 Colden Avenue?
I just got the notice today.
Okay. It says it's going to be an 8-story mixed-use residential and partly commercial use. It's a 27A zone and 62-3. So you haven't looked over if you could just see if there's any red flags on that.
100%. I actually looked at it on Google Maps, and right now it's basically 4 garages plus plus it looks like an apartment in the back. We will have to look at it and find out. It will come for land use if there is a variance application. I have to first we have to look to see if it is an as of right building. If it's an as of right building, then theoretically land use does not have anything to do with it. But we can look at it anyways and ask them to come, even if they do not need to have land use approval for it, or no objection. But we'll have to look into it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Joe Thompson, you're in, right? Economic Development?
Yes. I'm in economic development. We've only had one place. It's a renewal application for La Cantina restaurant, 825 Morris Park Avenue. Since the community board has had no complaints concerning the location. The police department has no complaints at all concerning this location. We find that there's no reason not to renew it. So our motion is to approve the renewal, and unless there's any objection to that.
I second.
I have a question, Joe.
Yes.
I remember when they were requesting their full liquor license, there was issues with the second egress and the door and the handle. And has anybody gone back to, I guess, just double check with what they were supposed to do, and as far, for safety reasons?
Well, Bernadette, our committee normally did that in the past, always, to any location. Unfortunately, with the new design or the new structure, we're pretty limited to what we can object to. And that goes to Department of Buildings, it goes to the fire department, and they have pretty much restricted us to, is it near a school or children's location, after school program, and is it within certain distances from other licensed premises? So we still kind of do that, but we're sort of limited into our ability to really look deeply into these locations.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you.
Joe, the only thing I'd add is that the police had no complaints, but they had quite a few compliments for this establishment.
Oh, the compliments also. So that doesn't help you, Bernadette, if you're in a burning place and there's only one way out. But it's nice to know.
Can I say something? It's Joanne Rubino.
Sure, Joe.
Okay, I just want to say that even though the economic development, we can't deny people licenses for various reasons, we can advise them, and we do talk to them. If there is like an egress problem, we advise them. Like, you could get in a lot of trouble with the fire department, and a lot of times they do comply. So even though we aren't making the rules, we can inform them, and we do.
Thank you, Joe. She's absolutely right.
Okay, so Joe Thompson made a motion for no objection for this establishment. Malcolm Gray, I believe, seconded it. So unless there's any other discussion, Joe, do you want to call for a vote?
I call for a vote. Anybody opposed? Anybody wishes to abstain? Then it's unanimous.
I don't know if Yahya back, he usually abstains. All right.
Yeah. So then the motion passes unanimously. And that's it.
All right, Bernadette, Education Committee.
Yes. Hi, good evening, everybody. This month in April, we did have Education, Youth Services, Culture and Youth Services meeting. It was the minutes will be posted probably hopefully by Monday. But we did have the superintendent of CEC11, Christine Vaughnan, and it was extremely good, informative, and full of questions meeting. And we also had from the public from PS 108. So all of that will be in the minutes. And just for everybody, also with regards to the Yankee Leadership Awards, we do not have dates for when the leadership, the awards are going to be given out at Yankee Stadium. That's forthcoming. So that will come from the Yankees to Jeremy, to the board members, to me. So we're looking forward to that. And there will not be a meeting in May for the education. So I just want everybody to know that, and I will send an email out to the committee members. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bernadette. Sandy Younger, Health Committee.
Yes, we had a meeting and it was very informative. Dr. Tyson Boudreau from Bronx Psychiatric Center gave an overview of what happens when a patient comes in, how they're treated, and he also told us about what other buildings are on the campus that are not related to Bronx Psych. And there is a video, and Joanne, I'm assuming, is going to write up the minutes, but she was not able to do it right away. And there'll be no meeting next month. Right. Thank you, Joanne. But we got some good feedback, and everyone who watched the video or was there said it was a very, very informative meeting.
One thing I want to add that I recall that he was saying that he would like to have the community use of some of the buildings that they're in charge of. They have a community building.
Yes.
That was very, very encouraging.
We will have to, yes, he would like to do that, but we have to wait, because even though he would like to do it and I would like to do it, everything has to go through Albany.
Of course.
But he's trying, and don't worry, I'll be on his case. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me about that, Joanne.
Okay. Hazel, Housing.
Is Richard on? Richard?
I do not.
Yeah,
no.
I'm here.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want to give a report since you were at the meeting?
Sure. We held a meeting last month regarding the group home. We held a public hearing, and it was basically an informational hearing. We already heard from the powers that be that the home wasn't going to happen anymore, given the fact that our area, a community, is oversaturated with group homes. So we just informed the public about that. They were happy to hear that a group home wasn't being built in their area. Luckily, we didn't have to kind of go back and forth in terms of trying to negotiate terms with the state and the city. But I think people are realizing now that the Bronx is oversaturated. So I'm not sure if we have any more coming up, but I think we are oversaturated at this point. That's all.
So just a point of order. So the state rejected it and came to us for our approval, and the state we could override the state if we were in favor of it, which is, I want to remind everybody the uniqueness of this. So as far as the staff can remember, this is going back to the 1980s. We've never had this authority to outright deny. Usually when you deny, you have to provide an alternate site. And this is the first that I've ever experienced that we've been able to outright deny based on oversaturation. Usually the state would leave it up to us to prove oversaturation, which is kind of ridiculous since they have all the information. So don't expect this to be replicated. Long story short.
Yeah, and I just want to add, the cerebral palsy people, it kind of breaks my heart to have to say no to them because we're just saturated with these establishments. But the cerebral palsy people are like the best neighbors and the best people that we can ever have in this community. They not only take care of their residents, they take care of their property, and they become part of the of the community. And, it really saddened me to do that, but it's like how much more can we take? And so I just want to put out there, it's not because they're a bad group, because they're like one of the best, and we have several residents in our community already, and we've never had any problems with them at all.
Okay.
Can I ask a question for the housing committee? Both Hazel and going forward, I just would like to point out that if we can continue along with Jeremy as a group effort to find out, to continue to get from DHS the answers to the questions that both Community Board 11 and the community have submitted. I think as of now, they still have not sent anything back in writing. And I think answers to those questions are extremely important for us moving forward in the Bronx and as Community Board 11. So I'm just requesting that the Housing Committee, along with Community Board 11, to really follow up and not let this fall through the cracks. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Bernadette.
Sounds good.
So, sorry, stop sharing my screen, back on it. Nominating and Elections Committee, Joanne Rubino. You know, I emailed the board. I don't know if you have that email handy, Joanne, but I did email the board on the process or bylaws and which positions are up. Do you have that information, Joanne, or do you need me to reiterate it? Joanne Rubino? I can't.
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. For this year, the positions of chairperson, vice chairperson, and secretary, we can have nominations. They are open seats. For our current chairperson, Al D'Angelo, is term limited and cannot seek re-election for chair. Yahe Obid and Hazel Mura can seek re-election, so we can nominate them. So we can I can open nominations for chairperson. Does anybody want to nominate anyone for chairperson?
I guess that's a no.
Well, I'll nominate Yahe Obid.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Okay, so is Yahe in?
Yahe, you're here.
He said he went to break the fast. I don't know if he came back.
So he has 10 days to respond in writing. If he
Okay.
doesn't do it tonight, we could call him an old business, whoever. Just a reminder that even though Joanne is on the nominating committee and she personally recommended, that doesn't stop anybody from nominating anybody else. So nominations are this month and next month, and then the election's in June. So there's a chance for nominations next month, and there's also the chance for a write-in ballot. So if you want to write anybody in.
Okay.
you do that in
So,
June.
no, are there any more nominations for chairperson? Does anyone have anything to say? If not, I'll go to the next. Would be for vice chair. Anyone want to make a?
Yeah, Joe Thompson. I nominate Al D'Angelo.
Okay, I'll second that. Al?
Do you accept, Al?
Yes.
Great. All right, thank you. Is there anyone else that wants to nominate anyone for that position? Please speak now. Okay, so then we close that nomination for this meeting anyway. So for the position of secretary, does anyone want to nominate anyone? Remember that in order to be on, they must have at least 2 years of board membership, just to remind you. Okay, anybody want to? Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to do this here publicly, but we could also ask Hazel if she doesn't have intentions on running again, then it's completely open, right?
Right. Hazel?
Yeah, I'll run again.
Okay, great. Is anyone going to nominate anyone? If not, I'll nominate someone.
Go ahead, Joanne.
Okay, I'll nominate Hazel Mura for secretary.
I'll second that.
Okay, great. Okay.
So Hazel accepts, right? Right.
Al accepts. And we just have to hear from Yahe. And that's really it. Those are the three the three positions that are open. So I guess at this point we can close this section of the nominating committee. And anything else, Jeremy?
I have a question. You said we could still nominate, can we nominate, also have nominees for next
Yeah,
month?
you can nominate now. I'm just saying,
No,
I apologize. No one said anything, so I assume no one had anything to say.
Oh, okay, no, but for if we do come up with any nominations for next month.
That's fine. The next month, I think, yeah, exactly. And then we
Okay.
vote in June. Okay.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Just a reminder for Hazel and Al that there was a bylaw change. I think it was last year, but maybe the year before. I don't remember. But either way, you got to submit to the board, I think 72 hours before the election, why you have to provide, I think it has to be in writing, or you have to provide an oral statement why you're running for the position. And I think I can get back on the details, but I think it's 72 hours prior to the election.
I think
Hey,
it's
Jeremy,
right.
it's Yahe. I just wanted to let you know that I'm back.
Oh, then, okay, Yahe, you were nominated for chairperson. So we want to know if you accept the nomination. It actually was seconded as well.
Who nominated me so I can hate them?
Me. Don't hate me.
You're very hard to hate. All right, I accept.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so I'm looking at the bylaws right now. I'll just quote it. So all the nominees, quote, must provide a written or oral statement to the committee board at least 72 hours prior to each election, indicating why they seek the elected position, end quote. Okay. Anything else, Joanne, that you can think of?
No, I think that's it. I think we're good for April.
Okay. So nominations will take place again in May, and then the election in June. Okay.
And the write-ins, Jeremy, there are write-ins in June. So
yes.
it's, yeah, okay.
So Avril Francis, I don't think Joanne Terrelonge is in. Sanitation Committee, I know you were talking about. So there was a request from the public that sanitation and parks do not meet on the same day or night. And so sanitation was, I know there was an issue with parks and some of the members not being able to switch out. So sanitation was nice enough they're going to look for another meeting date. And there was the next prospective guest was Joanna Rojas from the Pump Parkway Reconstruction Project. Ms. Rojas did ask for questions in writing prior to the meeting. So if anybody has any questions, whether you're a board member or a member of the public, please submit that to us as soon as possible, or Ms. Rojas and us at the same time. And Avril, anything else that you can think of? You had sanitation as your guest speaker this month, didn't you? Yeah. Right? Yeah. Right. So, listen. Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, so unless there's anything else, we got transportation. Rabbi, I know he had to step out at some point. I don't know if he came back in.
I'm here. I'm here.
Okay. So we're going to have your next meeting in June, right?
That's correct.
Okay, and then we have a perspective. Well, we're going to have the MTA talked about the current plans for the project, art panel aside, and maybe DOT.
Correct.
That hasn't been definite yet, or defined yet. All right.
That's fine with me. Thank you.
Okay, and also it should be noted it's the second Monday in June, not the first Monday, right? Because the first Monday is a holiday, I believe. Shavuot, I think.
Correct.
Okay. Any other committees that weren't on the list that need to say something? If not, we'll move on to electeds. All right. Elected officials. Do we have a representative from the Borough President's office? Oral, are you ready to time the reps? We don't have any elected proctors, right? We don't have any principal. Tom?
Yes.
Who's it?
Yes, I'm ready to time.
Good evening. It's Tom Lugania. How is everyone?
Hey, Tom.
Good.
Fine.
How are you doing? Good.
Good.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, Jeremy. Thank you for allowing me to speak briefly. I want to first thank all of you as board members who have been participating remotely on all of these meetings and the time and dedication it takes for you to do this, along with all the other things that are going on, in your lives. So I do appreciate it. The borough president appreciates your commitment. Speaking of remote meetings, I know Jeremy has received a memo from the law department regarding the future of remote meetings. We are putting a memo together based on that memo, which will be a bit more concise than that memo was, as to how after June 9th, there will be a change in what you can and cannot do in terms of your meetings. There are two basic options. One is that you go back to your normal in-person meetings and there is no remote option needed, as long as the space is large enough to have the public, which you always do. Or you can have, excuse me, a virtual option, which would require that the board members, they would have to be board members in a public space. A quorum of board members would have to be in a public space. And anyone else beyond that quorum could vote and participate in the meeting as a board member from home. However, those would be board members who have extenuating circumstances, and that extenuating circumstance still has to be defined a little better, and that's what we're trying to do. But if the board chooses the remote virtual hybrid meeting option, the board would have to hold a public hearing and put a resolution together as to how you would conduct those meetings, both your full board meetings, any committee meetings, any public hearings, etc. So once we get the memo from our general counsel, which should hopefully be by tomorrow, we'll be sending it out to the chair and the district manager, and at your next executive committee meeting will be something that you will have to talk about and decide how you want to move forward. If you go with having your meetings back to the way they were, you don't have to do anything. The only thing is, after June 9th, all of your meetings would be back in person. Earlier this week, I sent out the latest borough president newsletter, which includes many of the events that she has attended, many of the events that are coming up, news and press releases. And in that newsletter, there is the notification that Bronx Week 2022 will be held this year, and it will be back in its full force. So watch the newsletter, watch the emails that I send, or go to ilovethebronx.com, and all of the digital calendars for each of the events will be there. And many of the events will have a virtual piece, so that people who cannot make it will still be able to participate in Bronx Week. And then finally, many, if not all of you, should have already received from the Department of Citywide Administrative Services the email regarding the cycle 4 of the sexual harassment training prevention program. Each of you should have received your personal password in order to access it. If you have not, or it did not work because there was a glitch in the initial email, please let me know and I'll have it resent to you, or let Jeremy know and he'll send me the list, whichever is easier. And once you take the course, you will get your certificate. The certificate will come a couple of days after you've completed it. And then if you get that certificate to me, that would be greatly appreciated.
Okay,
that's
thank
all
you,
I
Tom.
have. If you had any questions, please feel free.
Okay, thank you, Tom.
Tom, I
Yes.
just want to let you know I must be in that glitch group because
Who's speaking?
this is Debbie.
Oh, okay, Debbie.
Yeah.
Okay,
I must
I will
be in
take
that
care of it
glitch
tomorrow.
group because it did not work for me.
Okay,
Debbie, hello?
Yes.
You are
Yeah.
not alone, because Tom, this is Sandy. I did not get the email.
Okay. I will send it down, and you should have it hopefully by Monday. So Debbie and Sandy.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Lucania.
Yes,
how are you?
Rabbi.
How
I'm
are you,
well.
Mr. Lucania? Okay,
Well, thank you.
question on the table is, once we go live and in color, which might be after June, July, whatever, is the borough president intending to attend a live full board meeting?
Yes, we've actually been to virtually a couple of them earlier, probably around February. And so, yes, we will be making appearances, whether it's virtually or in person, once we get to that point.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lucania.
You're welcome.
Okay, all right, so
Thank you.
we're gonna move on to the council members. And we always start in the order that who represents us the most, who has the larger portion of our district. Is Council Member Velasquez's office here? And then the next largest district is Councilmember Feliz. And then last, but definitely here, is Jamal Yap from Councilmember Riley's office. Jamal?
Good night, everyone. Thank you for having me. Thank you to the board. Always a pleasure being here. Just going to be brief. Our offices are open, 940 East Gun Hill Road and 135 Einstein Loop in Co-op City, Section 5. Our telephone number is 718-684-5509. We are having our weekly food pantry distribution on 3369 Wilson Avenue, Bronx. Please come by between 12 to 3. A lot of good food. And then coming up in May, we will be hosting 2 virtual resource fairs, one for property owners and one for tenants. The first one will be the homeowners resource fair with HPD and NIDC in collaboration with our office. That'll be May 5th at 6 p.m. I will send the flyer information over to Jeremy with the Zoom information. So please feel free to stop by if you have time. And also we will be hosting another virtual tenant resource fair on May 12th at 6 p.m. And that, again, I will send that flyer to Jeremy, which has all the Zoom information. And again, another collaboration with HPD and NIDC. So everyone, please have a wonderful night and take care.
Great, thank you very much. And Jamal's always very responsive when I reach out to him. Just FYI. Okay, mayor's office. If not in the mayor's office, comptroller's office is in, I believe.
Yes, good evening, everyone. This is Grim Mayhew from Comptroller Brad Lander's office. We do have a few updates. The first one is that last week, the comptroller unveiled the NYC Climate Dashboard, which is a database to highlight the city's incremental progress and path forward to meet its goals of reducing greenhouse gas emissions 80% by 2050. So if you're interested in that, that is on our website. And I can also circulate that with the board. And lastly, Comptroller Lander will be hosting a town hall entitled Spending for Our Students with Congressman Jamal Bowman, State Senator Robert Jackson, and Alliance for Quality Education on May 9th at 6:30 p.m. via Zoom. The comptroller found in a report in March that the DOE had spent less than 50% of the federal stimulus dollars it budgeted for this school year. And this town hall will take a deep dive at DOE spending for recovery with a focus on important investments stimulus funding could be used to support in fiscal year 2023 and beyond. So if you're interested in that, I will also send that to the board as well. My contact is in the chat for everyone. And if you need to reach out to me, my number is 929-512-1647. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. All right. I don't know if the public advocate's office is in. I think Christina from the district attorney's office might be in.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hello, Chris.
Hi, good evening, CB11. I'm not sure if you can see me.
No.
Okay.
Your
Hopefully
camera's
the
on.
video comes up. Good evening, CB11. Christina Calderon from the Office of the Bronx District Attorney. So I would like to report that we were able to collect over 350 prom dresses for our prom dress drive in lieu of Women's History Month. So I want to thank the community board members and the constituents of CB11 who contributed and donated to that drive. We are also collecting prom suits for the young men who would like to wear prom suits for prom. You can drop them off at our office, which is located at 198 East 161st Street. Or if I know you guys are pretty far from our office and there's a lot of traffic over here as well. If you guys are able to collect them together, and then I can arrange to go pick up the suits as well. So that is definitely an option. I'm willing to come out if you contribute to the drive. On another note, we'll be collecting up until next Friday. On another note, today we hosted a Denim Day March in lieu of Sexual Assault Awareness. We hosted that at Mount Eden and Grand Concourse. We marched from the Grand Concourse to Jerome and out and back to Mount Eden. Survivors got to speak. It was a great program. Very, very moving hearing the stories of survivors and the poems that they shared. And this Saturday, we are hosting our 5th annual Child Safety Fair. You guys have heard me talk about the Child Safety Fair. It's one of my favorite events here at the office. We take it around the Bronx. This year, we're hosting it within the confines of the 40th Precinct at 149th Street and Jackson Avenue at PS5. The premise of the program is to educate young people on different areas of safety, and all of our collaborators, partners within the community are required to have an interactive activity for the young people when they come to the table. And at the end, there is a raffle that the young people can participate in. It's a great event, activities, food, you name it. Please join us. I know it's a little far from the district, but please join us. And that's all for today. Thank you.
Thank you. That's great. Thank you so much. Okay, Jeremy, next.
Somebody from Ocasio-Cortez's office should be here. Daisy couldn't be here, but somebody else was going to fill in for her.
Hi, Jeremy. It's Daniel.
Hey, Daniel. Go ahead.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me. I'm covering for Daisy today. My name is Daniel Bontius. I'm the Deputy District Director of Operations. I work mostly out of Queen's office. Last week, we hosted our second in-person town hall, this time on the Queens side of the district. The Congresswoman discussed the advancements in addressing the climate crisis since the introduction of our Green New Deal resolution. Following our lead, at least 10 local Green New Deals have been introduced in places such as New York City, LA, Portland, and New Mexico. With the recent passage of last year's appropriations omnibus, our office secured funding at SUNY Maritime for over 300 students to train for union jobs in wind energy. And this is one of the first Green New Deal workforce training programs in the country. To ensure you continue to receive communications from our office, including invitations to town halls, please opt into our newsletter, and I'll share the link in the chat for that. Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services are providing relief to individuals who could not submit premium Part A or Part B enrollment or disenrollment requests because they could not get through to the Social Security's phone lines, Social Security Administration's phone lines after January 1st. They will be granted additional time through December 30th, 2022. And I believe I have a link to share with that information as well. As always, we welcome questions and comments from our constituents. We're also available for casework assistance. Our Bronx satellite office is open for walk-ins Mondays and Tuesdays from 9 to 5 p.m. But you can always reach us through our website or over the phones Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Happy to answer any questions if you have them.
No, yes, I have.
Hi.
Next question.
Right. Hi.
Hazel?
Hi, Hazel.
Hi. How are you?
Good, thanks.
I don't have a question, but I do have a concern, and I'm hoping that I can get the community can get some assistance. We have a lot of mailboxes in the community that have that glue. One is by my house. I mean, they're like all over the place. And it is a concern because we have, at NIDC, we have a lot of clients that can't always walk to the post office. And it's a, you know, we're not sure what to do. We've reached out to the post office, they're no help. So somebody told me to contact
Yeah.
the congressman's office, the congresswoman's office, to see if there was anything that you guys could do, because it's really, it's,
Yeah.
you know, it's almost, especially, I mean, almost every single mailbox in the community.
Yeah. So this isn't something that I've been working on directly. I believe Daisy has been working with the post office on it, though. If you have details, please reach out to us and send us those. I will touch base with Daisy and let her know that you raised this, and I can have her give Jeremy an update on you know, where things stand with that. But we absolutely have coordinated in the past with the post office to, you know, look into fixing these issues. I think the last thing I heard is that, you know, what's happening is they change, you know, you may remember a couple years ago, they installed new post office boxes that didn't just have the open slot. They have sort of, you know, a grating thing that blocks it. So, and that prevented what was happening before with people dropping a string down to pull mail out. But I think what I last heard is that, you know, as they put a new mechanism in, then the criminals, you know, come up with a new way to get around it. So it's sort of like, I think they're working on it. But Daisy should have something that's as up to date as possible on that for you. But it is definitely something that we're aware of. And if you have details that you want to send us, make sure you do. I'll have Daisy get back to you, though.
Yeah, the new boxes were great, but you know, the glue is now surrounding the slot. So
Right.
I mean, it's disgusting when, you know, you know, unfortunately I was mailing some mail over here on Barnes Avenue in Leidick, and I put the mail in and I got this glue like all over my hand. It was disgusting.
Yeah.
And then it was hard to clean. So I can imagine, you know, what everybody else is going through. So what I can do is I can get you some of the addresses of where these boxes are. Would that help?
Yeah, particularly if there's, you know, if there are boxes where it's happening repeatedly or anything like that, we can absolutely send those over to the post office, and maybe, you know, we can request that they attend to them more regularly or something like that. But like I said, I haven't been working on this directly, so let me mention it to Daisy and have her send over, you know, any updates that she's gotten back from from USPS on that, because she should have something more up to date.
Daniel, when we met with the postal department, the answer we received from the postal department was, don't put your mail in the mailboxes, put them in the post office. I mean, that's not a good answer.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Okay.
What do you have posted?
So let me see, because it could be possible that we can write a letter, you know, to the postmaster or something like that, and encourage further action on their part. So I'll definitely flag this for the team and see what our options are.
Okay, great. Thank you. So I'm just going to put it out there. If you guys have any mailboxes around where you are, because I don't know everyone.
Yeah.
I just know about 15 or 17 of them around here. So if you have one of those mailboxes near you, let me know, and I'll put it on the list. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Hazel, what I think, well, we'll send something from the Venice Neighborhood Alliance, because I think most of the mailboxes in Community Board 11, I don't think there's many that are not affected, and I think there needs to take the solution has to go beyond what hasn't worked in the last 7 years. So there needs to be some sort of enforcement or collaborative movement with the Congress member's office and with the post office, because it's been going on at least since 2008 that I know of, even before the retrofitting. So I will send a letter.
Yeah, please send that over, and you know, we'll think through what our options are if the post office's response continues to be what Al just mentioned. So, because that's a frustrating response, obviously. So, yeah, thanks.
Somebody needs a COVID test. Anyway, Yeah, I just want to say Avril couldn't speak earlier. She just had something medically done. I don't think she was the one coughing, so she couldn't speak earlier. So representative from Bowman's office, is there anybody here from Bowman's office? I know there's State Senator Biagi's office, right?
Hi, good evening, everyone. This is Caitlin, Constituent Service Representative from State Senator Biagi's office. I just have a few quick announcements. So last week, our office launched a Stop the Waste campaign in honor of Earth Day. So we're going to be raising awareness about food waste and clothing waste, and about programs that can reduce this waste, like the curbside composting program, the food scraps drop-off map, and composting certification courses. We're also going to be sending out information about a compost bin event that we'll have more information on coming up, and I'll send that to Jeremy when I have that. And we're also going to be raising awareness about the Fashion Act, which Senator Biaggi leads on, which would impose a sustainable obligation on the biggest brands in the fashion industry. Also, we're looking to do some more at-home testing kit distributions. So if anyone knows any community organizations that would be interested in partnering with us for this distribution, you can reach out to our Director of Strategies and Operations or myself. Her email is communityaffairs@senatorbiaggi.com. Or Jeremy also has my contact information. I don't think I can access the chat. And lastly, we are actively looking for engaged, committed, service-driven, resilient businesses to recognize with the 2022 Empire Award, where we'll be honoring businesses that have achieved a high level of excellence in our district. So if you have any recommendations, please submit them to our office. You can use the same emails that I mentioned. Just please include the business name, the owner name, the address, contact information, and the reason for your recommendation. So again, that could be sent to communityaffairs@senatorbiaggi.com or myself. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Can I ask a question? Does
Sure.
Senator Biaggi plan to make any in-person visits to any place in our district?
Yes, so we are currently she's talking about setting up can't think of the right word, but a meeting about bail reform for all the community boards that her district covered, because it's something that's been requested by a lot of the community boards. So I was just discussing that with my team today. So I should have dates coming up that I'll be able to get to everyone. Unfortunately, she hasn't been able to attend with the campaign and it getting possibly pushed off because the map was rejected. But she is planning on having that discussion and hopefully attending some more of the community board meetings.
Would you believe that it's been quite a while since we've actually seen her?
Yes. So
Okay.
she's been a
Thank
little
you.
busy with the campaign, but I will let her know that, people are looking to see her and see if she can attend one of these board meetings.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Caitlin, we saw her when she was running for office, and we haven't seen her since. Just to let you know.
Yeah, I could definitely discuss that with her. Like I said, I know the bail reform discussion was being discussed, but I'll definitely also bring up that to see if she can attend one of the CB11 board meetings.
FYI.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay. Anybody from Renewal from Bailey's office? You should be in, right? Renewal?
Hi, this is Renewal from State Senator Bailey's office. I'd like to inform you that yesterday we had a PPE and COVID home kit test. So if anyone needs a home kit test, they can visit our office at 959 East 233rd Street between Gunther Avenue and Edenwall Avenue. Also, next month, we're having our annual Taste of the District. So if you're not familiar, the previous year's Taste of the District would offer a discount for a week to constituents. So because of COVID, we're not asking the restaurants for any discounts, but we want to highlight those restaurants. So we're in the process of contacting many restaurants in Senator Bailey's district. If you know of any restaurants that Senator Bailey could add to the list, you can email me. I could provide my email in the chat. And also, next month, we're having our Mother's Day event. If you are interested in that, you may also email me so I can add you to our mass emailing list. Thank you.
Yeah, so if anybody wants Renell's email, the chat's been disabled. That's how we do it now. And once the meeting starts, I can always give you Renell's email. Anybody who wants it, just reach out to me after the meeting, please. Okay. Thank you.
I can quickly give my email, and if you missed it, then you can reach out to Jeremy. So my email is R as in Robert, O as in Oscar, G as in George, I as in Isaac, L as in Larry, V as in Victor, I as in Isaac, E as in Edward, at nysenate.gov. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody from State Senator Rivera's office?
Hey,
If not,
Jeremy. Good
yep,
evening.
go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. It's Julio. I'll try and turn my camera on too. There we are. Hey, everybody. So just a couple quick announcements. I'll try and be brief. Our offices are open, although it's still currently appointment-based, Monday through Thursdays between 12 and 4. We do direct constituent services. Fridays, we work remotely. So, any sort of issues you have, you can call to us and we'll take care of it in person the following week. We also are helping out with ERAP applications, albeit that because of budget purposes, there isn't any direct funding right now. For any tenants with rent arrears, it's still a good preventative measure for eviction based on those grounds. We also help with rent freezing programs such as SCREE and DREE. For homeowners, we had the SHE and DHG applications. However, the deadline was in March. Come the next year, that should be available again. But any questions about that, you can relay it to me. Jeremy also has my email. In terms of at-home testing kit distributions, the senator has worked with a series of electeds for PPE pop-ups, pop-up distributions, and we've also worked with the Child Development Support Cooperation and provided child care providers the kits needed to distribute to families and child services. So if you are a provider and you need at-home testing kits, you can call our office and we can reserve them for you to pick them up. And that's good. I'm good together.
Great. Thank you very much, Julio. Okay. Anybody from any of the assembly members' offices? Fernandez, Heasty, Benedetto, or Reyes? Anybody from their offices? No? Okay. Old business? Do you want to go over attendance? Anybody before, any board member before me though? Okay.
Janice Walcott.
Yeah, Janice, go ahead.
I'm trying to find out if we're having a Parks Committee meeting, there are issues that need to be resolved at Zimmerman Playground. If we're having a Parks Committee meeting next month.
Yeah, I believe so, right, Lisa? Is Lisa still in? I don't remember if we canceled that or if we scheduled that. I have to look at the calendar. I don't have that up right now.
Okay.
I'll
Yeah,
check.
sorry, it took me a minute to find the mute button. Yes, we are having a meeting next month.
Yeah, on the 12th. Okay. All right. All right. So in terms of attendance, I'm going to just call out the names real quickly of who I do not have marked. So if you're here in this meeting, please tell me if your name is Tasneem, if your name is Valerie Babb, or Nayla Bashiri, Malcolm Gray, Melanie LaHose, Shred Hammond, I got you now. Shredo, Keith Ramsey, Adi Shkreli, Cecilia Smoker, Dafidar Sorav, Joanne Caroline, Joe Thompson is here, and Janice is here, got her. Vernell. Okay. I think one of the two of these people, they did notify me that they're not going to be around. But all right.
Malcolm is in.
Jeremy, I see Malcolm is in.
Oh yeah, I forgot. He did second a motion earlier. And then just so everybody is aware, I was actually supposed to bring this up at leadership. I know I notified Yahe. We did have a request for alternate side parking regulations on Eastchester Road, right underneath the Amtrak line. Just a small section, I think for Saturdays, which when there's probably less traffic. It's because I got a complaint from a member, let's see, somebody at Jacoby Medical Center about flooding there. I know when I used to live over there, there's definitely a lot of flooding. And with the idea is that with turnover, it'll be cleaner and the DEP can clean up the catch basins. Usually the catch basins are flooded. So I have to put that together and email that to the board. I've been meaning to do that. I keep putting it off because I just get bogged down with other things.
Is that just one day a week, Saturday?
I believe so. I'd have to double check. Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, so I'm just telling you, Jeremy, at Einstein, there's a lot of Orthodox religious doctors. You do it on Saturday, it's a big problem.
Yeah, I can reach out to Einstein.
That's a big problem, Jeremy. Pick another day. If you're cleaning it out, who cares? Pick another day.
Well, I mean, unless you're personally parking over there, unless the doctors from Einstein will have a meeting about it, and they'll be encouraged to show up and inform us, right? Because we have made.
We have the doctors, Jeremy.
They could park somewhere. They could park somewhere else Friday before the Sabbath.
Yeah, but it's going to limit them for putting their cars somewhere on Sabbath too. And it's not only doctors, Jeremy, it's all the students there. Now, I don't know where they park the whole time, but it's going to take away some nice spots.
Well, it's a very, very small section, and we need something done about the flooding there because it is atrocious.
How many spots about, Jeremy? How many spots about?
Probably about 6 or 7.
I don't remember. I can look right now if you want. If somebody else has something else they want to announce.
Okay. I don't think 6 or 7 will be the end of the world.
And I don't believe any of the doctors are going to park there.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, because that area is known flooding. So most of the people that know of the flooding issue try to avoid there anyway.
Okay.
So it's just the Einstein side. It's not the Calvary Hospital side. It's from Sackett to Bassett. So, right where you turn in on Einstein, just to Bassett, it's a really small area. And it's only Saturdays. This is coming from Sanitation Department, Saturdays from 9 to 9:30.
Okay.
All right. But we'll do our diligence and reach out. I know in the past when we put alternate side regulations on Waters Place, I reached out to Einstein then, or Montefiore, which is the parent company, so to speak.
Okay, no problem. Thank you, Jeremy.
Yep. Any other old business? New business?
Well, Jeremy, Joe?
Yeah, Joe.
Okay, the first thing is that we are having the breakfast. The 49 Precinct Council's having the breakfast on May 20th. You'll be receiving something in the mail in the next couple of days. Of course, this breakfast is going to be dedicated to the memory of Silvio Mazzella, who has quite a record in this community as chair of the Morris Park Community Association. Of course, second chair to the council. Plus, he served on committees Einstein and Jacoby. So he's had quite an impact on this community. Plus, he's been a good friend to all of us. And it's going to be dedicated to him. We are honoring Jacoby Hospital and for their work, not just in the medical field, which was, of course, great with the pandemic, but also with their participation and stand up to crime. And that's SUV. And they're the ones who house it. They're the ones who participate in the marches. They're the ones who open the door for members of SUV to go in and talk to victims of the crimes in order to quell the violence and stop retaliation. So they have really extended themselves in this community for a number of years, and this is one of their highlights. Also, we're going to honor PS 83, the principal, Brandon Machino. And Brandon Machino is such a great example for kids. If you had children that went there, you know anything about him, he's teaching the kids how to give and how to give with a smile and how to work and how to be part of the community. Since I've known him, he has and his kids have donated well over 100 tons of food, and we collect those at Christmas. He's the major funder for our Christmas drive. So Brandon Machino definitely deserves to be honored. So again, it's going to be on May 20th, and it's going to be at the same place, Maestro's Caterers, 9 a.m., and you'll get notified. So I hope to see all of you there. It's going to be a great event. We anticipate a lot of people coming, definitely our elected officials. So please show up and show your support. It'll be our first big community event for the year. Thank you very much. Hope to see you.
Joe, this is Chris.
Joe, what was the date again?
That's May 20th. That's Friday morning from 9 to 11. And that's at Maestro's.
Thank you.
Joe, it's Chris. Is it possible, actually, I direct it to you, but also the proposal goes to the chair, Al. The gentleman or the sergeant that deals with the towing of derelict vehicles and so on and so forth is Sergeant Pasalacqua. Is it possible we can honor him? I'm talking about us, Community Board 11, on that event for an incredible job. I mean, this guy is hands-on on everything, especially when we put requests from Community Board 11 about the derelict vehicles. And we have a bunch of board members that even can agree on that, you know, whatever vehicles they have, send it to me, that they have been for a while, and either he has to tow them away or he has to notify the driver or whoever it is. He has done an incredible job, and I would love to present him with a plaque when it comes to that matter. Can we do it at your event if possible? If
Well,
the
Chris,
chair,
I'll
Mr.
speak to
Biaggi
the
would-
captain about this, but normally the police always pick their people. But since this is such a, it's a really impressive thing. If you would just send me something so that I can show the new captain, and if it's okay with him, it's definitely okay with me.
Yeah, Joe, just let the captain know that it's coming from the community board. It's not, it's, we'd like to do something for him because, Chris is right. He's been very active as far as anything we've asked him to do, he's done.
Okay, and then please just put it in writing so I'll have it and I can talk to the captain about it and make sure that it gets done.
Thanks, Joe.
Hey, Chris, just I missed the last part that you said. You want to recommend something on behalf of the board? Would someone just make a motion to do that?
I didn't hear who it was.
Well,
That's a
nobody made a
sergeant.
motion. nobody made a motion. This is a request.
It's just a
It's
request.
coming.
It's not a motion. I mean,
Well,
first
he,
of all,
And it's
Yahe
coming from the
wants to,
chair of the board, and it's coming from the board, so.
yeah, Yahe wants
But
to.
I didn't hear what officer you mentioned. I couldn't hear that.
Pasalacqua,
hey,
right?
put a little bit of volume up, please, because I know you are hard of hearing. It's Sergeant Christopher Pasalacqua in charge of traffic enforcement. When I say traffic enforcement, don't be wrong. It's not the one directing the traffic. It's about one taking care of derelict vehicles that have been in neighborhoods, taking spots, like old trucks filled up with garbage. The one especially over there at Rite Aid by White Plains and Morris Park. John Rubino can attest to that. I had two other cars that that were for ages. I had complaints about cars being brought in and left from dealers that we don't know if these dealers do the deals on streets. And he has been taking care of that without even just a sigh, without any complaint at all, and things have gone very smooth.
What's his name again? Do me a favor, Chris. Give me his name one more time.
It's Christopher Pasalacqua.
Pasalacqua. Okay.
Sergeant Christopher Pasalacqua.
Okay, I'm sorry. What we may do, because I have a special category, it's some select people that really didn't qualify to be maybe Officer of the Year or something like that, or Business of the Year. But I have a little special category that I do honor people. And I'll just talk to the captain because he's got to know this. And so if he agrees, I can put him down as one of the special honorees.
Okay, just
Joe, the whole point is that we, Community Board 11, would like on that event to present him with a plaque.
Well,
Can it
where
be on the
appropriate, right?
I know.
Yeah.
But again, we would still have to go by the captain because he's the one that that picks the officers. And if he says yes, and I don't see any reason why he would not say yes, but that's a courtesy.
So,
No, but what I'm trying to say is this: is elected
I
official.
know what you're trying to say.
They
And
give
even though it's
like
coming from the
merit.
board, it's still a courtesy, and still the police department has to say okay on it.
and I think what Yahe's getting at, he would like a formal vote on it, right? If it is coming from the community board, is that what you're saying, Yahe?
yes, please. So I'd like to call for a motion to make a
Okay, that's good.
request to the 49th Precinct Clergy Council to recognize Sergeant Pasacala for recognition at the 49th Precinct Community Council breakfast on May 20th. Do I have a second?
I'll
Yes,
second it.
discussion. I don't think it's that they want the precinct council to do it. I want the community board to do it at the precinct council breakfast. It's a tiny bit of a distinction, but not the community, not the precinct council to recognize it, the community board to recognize it, but give it at that breakfast.
Correct.
Okay,
Right,
so
Chris is requesting that we give a plaque to the officer on behalf of
Okay,
the
so-
community board.
Okay, so I'll amend the motion. I'd like to call for a motion to, or I'll pull the other motion back and then call for a motion for Community Board 11 to recognize Sergeant Pasacala Pasalacqua at the 49th Precinct Community Council breakfast. And we would award him with a plaque. Do I have a second?
You have a second.
Seconded by Al, I think. All right. Any discussion on it?
No.
I'm gonna have a discussion on it. I got a little confused. Joe, is this a police thing or a community board? I'm not sure. I may have missed something.
This is it's a partnership. It's a partnership between the community and the police.
Okay.
Now this is well within our range.
Okay.
And I don't feel that there's going to be a problem with it at all. And I think that the captain will go along with it. So you can rest easily on this, okay?
Thanks for the clarification, Joe.
Okay.
For me only.
Further discussion? Any objections? Any abstentions? All right, motion passes.
Unanimous. Thank you, Yahi. Any other new business?
Yes, I'd like to just let everybody know that the Van Ness Neighborhood Alliance will be having their in-person monthly meeting on Monday, May 2nd, and we will have a presentation with regards to city council redistricting process. So it should be quite interesting. Well, welcome. And if I repeat myself, I just wanted everybody to know that Van Ness, the neighborhood of Van Ness, the East Bronx History Forum has submitted Van Ness neighborhood as part to see if they would be nominated as a historic with the Historic District Council. And this year we were nominated as 6 to celebrate. So we're very, very happy about that. And there'll be some sort of walkthrough and celebration in sometime in June. But I just wanted everybody to know that Van Ness has been given a wonderful honor. Thank you.
Okay. Any other old bit or new business? Motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I second it.
I second it.
I second it.
If anybody,
I third it.
if anybody's against
I'll
it,
fourth
say
it.
it.
I'm against it. I'm against it. I want to talk the whole night.
Oh, no, none of that.
You talked enough.
You didn't do that. You didn't say that.
Yeah, all right. So meeting officially is ending at 9:20 p.m.
Thank you. Have a great night, guys.
Everybody have a great night.
Cheers, cheers.
And I want to
Great
see you on
night.
the
Night,
Jeremy.
Happy Mother's Day to all.
Good night, Junior.
Mothers.
Oh, that's right. Happy Mother's Day.